Everyone, this is first grade everyday math lesson 7-2, more fact families. To start our lesson today, please look at this domino and this fact triangle. What are things that you see in common between the fact triangle and the domino? How are they the same? How are they different? When we look at the fact triangle, we can see that the number 4 is represented in the top of the domino. When we look at our fact triangle, we also see the number 4 represented. When we look back at the domino, we see the number 6 represented. And when we look at the fact triangle, we also see the number 6 represented. The last thing that we talked about yesterday in regards to fact families when we were looking at a domino is that we need to look at the total number of dots. And we talked about that being 10 for this specific domino. When we look over here at our fact triangle, we also see the number 10 represented. So all three numbers that are represented on the domino are also represented here on the fact triangle. So let's think about the 4 number models or number sentences that we can write for this domino and also for this fact triangle. If you recall from yesterday, we discussed that there were 2 addition facts and 2 subtraction facts that we could write for each fact family. In this case, I will start with the 6 plus 4 for the addition fact, because that's the way I see them presented on the domino right now. I know that 6 plus 4, that's a combination that makes 10. I also can make this a turnaround fact by showing 4 plus 6, and that will still equal 10. If you recall from yesterday, we discussed that there are 2 subtraction facts that we can write for each fact family. They must start with the largest number, and then we subtract the number of dots on one side. We're left with the number of dots on the other side, and vice versa. So these 4 number models that we have written for this domino are also the 4 number models that we can use to represent this fact triangle. If we were to take the domino away and just look at the fact triangle, we would be able to make these same 4 number models. So let's talk about a fact triangle for a minute. This fact triangle is a tool that we'll use a lot in the rest of first grade, as well as second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and beyond. A fact triangle will have 3 numbers represented on it. Additionally, you'll see several symbols on the fact triangle. You'll notice that there is a dot at the top of the fact triangle. The top of the fact triangle, where the dot is always for the sum. And then the bottom 2 numbers that you'll see in the bottom 2 corners of the fact triangle will be our addends. That being said, when we look in the middle of our fact triangle, we see our 2 symbols here in the middle, a plus sign and a minus sign. When we look at the fact triangle, it is telling us that when we add this number to this number, it will equal the number at the top. Or when we add this number to this number, it will equal the number at the top. Fact triangles also work because when we're subtracting, we start with the number here at the top. And if we subtract this number, we will be left with this number. And if we start at the top here, we subtract this number, we'll be left with this number. So if we are just given a blank domino and we want to create our own fact triangle, we look for the numbers represented at the top of the domino, and we're going to write that in our fact triangle in one of the bottom corners as an addend. We look for the other number represented on the domino, and we write that in the opposite corner at the bottom, because those are for our addends, the two numbers that add together. We write our sum, or the total, at the top. So let's take a minute to look at this fact triangle. We see that there is a 6 and a question mark as the addends, and a 9 as the sum. When we're using fact triangles to practice our math facts, we're going to be practicing by covering up one of the numbers. In this case, we don't know what that mystery number is. We don't know what number is under that question mark. So that's how we'll use the fact triangles to practice. One way to think about it is by using our related fact number sentences. So if you're not sure on how to solve this problem or what the missing addend is, you can try writing out your number sentences. We know that our addends, so our two numbers in the bottom, will be the two numbers that we add together. In this case, we add 6 plus something, or the turnaround fact of something plus 6. And then we'll write our sum over here. So when we think about it this way, we're really asking ourselves, 6 plus what will equal 9? Or what plus 6 will equal 9? We can also think about this as a subtraction number model. When we're looking at it for subtraction, we want to start with the sum in our number sentence. So both of them will always start with 9, that biggest number. So we're thinking about 9 minus 6, because that's the addend we know, equals what? Or 9 minus something equals 6. Now that we're thinking about it this way, there are a variety of strategies that we can use to help us solve these problems, either counting up from 6 or counting back from 9. Once you've done that, you'll realize that you can solve the problem and figure out that the missing addend is 3. So let's try one more altogether before we send you off to try this on your own. In this case, we see two numbers represented in the fact triangle. We see the number at the top and one number at the bottom. We know that the number at the top is always going to be the sum. So when we're filling in our related fact number models, we can start with this number. And in our addition number models, it will be at the end because that's going to be the biggest number. In our subtraction number models, that number at the top of the fact triangle is going to go at the beginning. So we've already filled in one number in our related fact number models. We know one other number. We know this 3 down here. So when we're filling in our number models, our addition number models, we can put a 3 and then in the first spot, and then a 3 in the second spot for the second fact to show the turnaround fact. And our missing number we can represent with a question mark. So there are our two addition number models. When we're thinking about subtraction, we know that in one of them we can put the 3 at the beginning, 5 minus 3. And in our subtraction turnaround fact, we do 5 minus something equals 3. And therefore, we represent those missing numbers with a question mark. From here, now we are ready to practice solving the problem. You're going to get lots of practice with these fact triangles over the next few days and in the weeks ahead. Tonight, for homework, we would like you to cut out the packet of fact triangles that you received before we went on our e-learning days. There are several pages included in the packet. Please cut them out, and then you'll be able to practice using the fact triangles to add or to subtract. Once you finished cutting them out, you can go ahead and practice with a friend or practice on your own. We look forward to building your fact fluency with our fact triangles.